Introduction of the national currency of Kazakhstan, Tenge, in 1993 was the first move Kazakhstan made as an independent country. This period of history of a new independent post-Soviet state was difficult. A lot was at stake, and the role of the newly created national bank with a primary function to regulate and stabilize country's financial market was significant. My colleague Balzhan Samigulina had a chance to talk to one of the first chairmen of the National Bank of Kazakhstan, prominent financier and banker Grigory Marchenko, who shared his insights on the major events in national economy and its repercussions to the modern financial system of the country.
Mr. Marchenko, thank you very much for sharing time with us. You were the head of the National Bank of Kazakhstan in the period of 1999-2005, when economy of Kazakhstan took its first steps, and it's time of the global financial crisis. Which measures you had to take in order to protect the economy of Kazakhstan at such a crucial time, please?
Well, actually, today is the 30th anniversary of Tenge introduction. I was the member of the working group which did it 30 years ago, and I think that was the first measure in the financial area that we had to take as an independent country, because we were part of the Soviet Union first, and after the Soviet Union broke down, we were members of the old ruble zone, so to speak. In the year 99, when I was appointed the governor, the world was still recovering from the effects of the international financial crisis of 1998, which started in Southeastern Asia. So we thought that the most important thing was to create confidence in the banking sector, because then the overall volume of population deposits in the banks was about $320 million only. Mm-hmm. Now it's $35 billion. So the growth is more than 100 times in 24 years. So we created the deposit insurance scheme, guaranteed banking confidentiality, and then we did quite a few things in order to create the infrastructure of the financial system, which is still working. We created the Kazakhstan mortgage company, the housing savings bank, and few other institutions in order to maintain the infrastructure of our financial system.
Okay, let us speak of the devaluation of 2015. People were not ready because of the double increase of foreign currency, and how justified are such post procedures?
If you look at our history, the largest devaluation was actually in 1994, and it was a result of the wrong macroeconomic decision by the government, which decided to clear enterprise arrears, so it was called. So the idea was that the central bank should create or print a lot of tenge, and companies which had a lot of debts to each other would use this money to repay these debts. And so central bank was very much against it, but the government pushed the presidential decree without the signature, without the approval of the central bank. So central bank had to comply. The amount of the volume of money in circulation increased by over 70%. So, and within 3 months, tenge went from 11 tenge per dollar to 40. So it was 3.5 times devaluation, and not a lot of people are remembering that. The accumulated devaluation, and actually there were sort of three periods of that in 2014, 2015, was also quite bad, but it was 2.5 times. So not as bad as 1994. And that's a question which is open to discussion. There are quite a few people who are still talking about the fixed exchange rate, but I think the experience of South America in 1998, South America and first and foremost Southeastern Asia, showed that fixed exchange regimes are not supportable over long term. And also our problem geographically is that our largest neighbor is Russia. And when Russia is doing a substantial devaluation, which happened in 2008 and then in 2014, we also have to take measures, because if we don't, our industry and especially small and medium enterprises would suffer, because Russian products would be substantially cheaper in dollar terms, and we would be swarmed by Russian imports. And actually we had this situation in 2015.
Can we say that we have come to the stability of financial sector of Kazakhstan after, and especially considering the restructuring the main financial institutions in Kazakhstan?
There is an old expression, all cowboys' work is never done. So financial stability is not something that you achieve and then you sit down and enjoy. I mean, there are always some crisis somewhere. We are part of international economy, which is quite global. And if something happens in Malaysia, Bolivia, or someplace else, we are still considered to be part of the emerging markets, and events, some negative events in one part of the emerging markets would also lead to consequences for us.